Lynn Posluns is one of the world's foremost leaders and fundraisers for women's brain health. Please welcome to the studio, Lynn Posluns. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Susan.
So nice for you to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. So, Lynn, why did you create Women's Brain Health Initiative?
Well, fortunately, no one in my immediate family has dementia, but I was doing fundraising for an organization here in Toronto, and that's when I discovered that almost 70% of Alzheimer's sufferers are women, that women suffer from depression, stress, anxiety twice as much as men, but research focuses primarily on men. And as a woman who maybe walked into the room one too many times and forgot why, it bothered me that no one was focusing on my brain health or what risks I may have as I got older. So I stepped off the board of that foundation and I created Women's Brain Health Initiative 10 years ago now, really to fund the female side of the story, so making sure that research better met women's needs, but also to educate the public about what they can do to protect their brain health. And the reason that's important is we now know that 40% of all cases of dementia can be avoided through lifestyle choices. So even if you're genetically predisposed to diseases like Alzheimer's, which is the most common cause of dementia, there are things you can do to delay and or prevent the onset of cognitive decline that leads to dementia. Well, that means people have more control over their cognitive destiny than they may have realized. And we also know that by the time symptoms of diseases like Alzheimer's occurs, it's likely that the damage has happened 20 to 25 years prior. So that means Alzheimer's is really a midlife disease with symptoms that show up in old age, which means you have to engage in the lifestyle choices that can protect your cognitive vitality at a younger age. So education and research is the focus of Women's Brain Health Initiative.
Lynn, your leadership and humanitarian work has been nationally and internationally recognized. Who instilled your ambition and your generosity of spirit?
Well, that definitely probably started with my family, because my family's very philanthropic, not just in terms of giving money, but in terms of giving time. And although I didn't think I was going to give up my career to do this full time and not get paid, it became a true passion for me, right? And then the more I spoke to people about the cause, the more people said, yeah, let's do something about this. So I was really fortunate to have collected a strong group of talented people around me that believe in the cause as much as I do.
Okay, well, it's amazing, really. So data in the last few decades has clearly indicated that women are disproportionately affected by brain health conditions. Why? Why has women's brain health not been given global attention?
Well, fortunately, things have started to change for women, which is great. But the same way 20 years ago, they didn't recognize that a woman's heart attack may be different than a man's, so women's symptoms, because yes, women have chest pain, but they also have other symptoms, which means when they go into an ER, for instance, it's complicated because they may have, in addition to chest pain, they may have headache, they may have nausea, they may have neck pain. Mm-hmm. So it makes it more complicated to diagnose, and a lot of women were having heart failure because the symptoms weren't being recognized. It wasn't until they started to look at men differently than women did they start to understand this. Well, there seems to be something going on with women that make us more susceptible to brain aging diseases, and unless the scientists look at this and understand why there are differences and where the differences occur, we're never going to find answers for women.
How can women boost cognitive vitality and control brain health destiny?
So this is both for men and women, but there are 6 keys or pillars to brain health that I like to talk about. And these, again, are science, evidence-based, lifestyle choices that you can make that can help protect your cognitive vitality. And even if you are in some stage of cognitive decline, engaging in these lifestyle factors still will give you added protection. So quickly, what the 6 are: nutrition. We know that healthy eating is very important to protect your brain health, and things like salt and sugar and fat cross the blood-brain barrier and put holes in your brain, so you don't want to go down that path. So healthy eating. The MIND diet is currently the best evidence. It's a combination of the Mediterranean style diet as well as the DASH diet, which is low sodium to control hypertension. So fruits, vegetables, nuts, olive oil, low salt intake. They even allow for a cheat day, so it's easier to follow than the Mediterranean style diet. So nutrition, exercise, physical exercise increases the blood flow and the oxygen to the brain, very important. Sleep. Not a lot of women sleep well, but 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep a night is what they're saying is important to get rid of the toxins in your brain and consolidate memories. Missing a day and then sleeping twice as much the next day does not cut it. It has to be every single night. So sleep, stress. Stress can prematurely age your cells, including your brain cells. Too much a negative hormone is released into the brain, which causes the damage. So stress management is very important. Mindfulness meditation. Pets also are good. A lot of people got pets during COVID to keep stress in check. Social isolation is also something that needs to be looked at. And again, with COVID, social isolation was a problem. It leads to depression and isolation, which can be precursors to dementia. So social engagement is very important. And mental stimulation. You have to continue. Ongoing learning is very important to keep your brain stimulated. The more complex, the better, but if you're right-handed, you can brush your teeth with your left hand, drive a different way to work every day. It can be little things, but again, the more complex, the better. It develops new neural pathways, so as one part starts to fall off, other parts start to take over. So those are 6 keys.
We actually have a role in preventing our brain health decline.
Yes, we do.
These are things that they're there, but we don't really think about them. But when you just lay them all out, they're doable.
Right. And again, it's also good for your heart. So it's good for your heart, it's good for your brain.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that. Now, you've designated Women's Brain Health Day every December 2nd. Yeah. So what are the kinds of things that you do to raise awareness?
We were very fortunate the Canadian government added Women's Brain Health Day every year, December 2nd, so that other organizations, not just ours, can participate and raise awareness for the fact that women have been under-researched in terms of brain aging diseases, and also what people can do to protect their brain health. So we started this in 2019, and what we do is we have a challenge, which allows people to do something viral and get, through social media, a lot of people involved. It also raise money because you can donate. But in 2019, the challenge is called the Stand Ahead Challenge because we're standing up against research bias and standing ahead for women's brain health. In 2019, it was to do a headstand. In 2020, it was actually a memory game where you had 7 playing cards. You got to look at them and then turn them face down, and you had to recall them. And then last year, the challenge was to write your hand with both your dominant and your non-dominant hand. So you can compare the right and the left. And it sounds easy, but it's a lot more complicated to make it look good. And this year, again, December 2nd, we're going to have a new challenge, again, to raise awareness and to get more people involved in the cause. One more point about that is the first $250,000 that we raised each year has been matched by Brain Canada. So why not double your money, which is fantastic. And we've already raised over $2 million just through that campaign alone.
Amazing. Really, everything about this is amazing for women, and I applaud your efforts. So
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Susan.